Spaniard Carlos Rodriguez for the stage win. An all-out head-to-head battle between Tadej Pogacar and Jonas Vingegaard on site here in Morzine at the end of stage 14. And what a battle we had. Carlos Rodriguez taking the stage win, second going to Tadej Pogacar, third place going to Jonas Vingegaard, but there were 151 kilometers of racing today, and it was tough, intense all day. And in the early hours, in the early minutes of the race, we had this huge Maxi Caduta. Many riders came down, and I'd never seen it but maybe once before in the Giro d'Italia, where the race organization decides to take the race and pause it for a while to let the ambulances get to all the riders, let the teams get to all the riders who were involved in the crash. In the crash was Jai Hindley sitting third overall, Wegersteek Langen, teammate of Pogacar, Wilco Kilderman, Nathan Van Hooydonk, teammate of Vingegaard, also Fred Wright, Esteban Chavez, James Shaw, both of those guys from EF Education had to abandon the race, as too did Luis Menches, Movistar's Pereiro also, and later on Romain Bardet as well abandoned the race. So we saw many riders calling the end of their Tour de France here in stage 14, and it was soon after that we saw this huge escape go, but they never got much time. In the escape was Matteo Jorgensen with a couple of Movistar teammates, also Giulio Ciccone with a teammate, and also Mike Woods, Hugo Hull, Neelands, all from Israel Premier Tech, but Jumbo-Visma was not letting them get very far at all. The last riders remaining were Mike Woods and Giulio Ciccone. Jumbo-Visma were out on a mission today. Yesterday they didn't seem like that, but today you could tell they were doing so. It was Van Hooydonk, it was Wilco Kilderman, it was Walt Van Aert. Walt Van Aert, especially when we got to the last climb, the Joe Plain, 11 kilometers long. He led through the valley, led onto the climb, and then had to just ease off, and you could tell he was getting dropped in distance, as too were many other riders, including Simon Yates, many of those guys, Thibaut Pinot, many of those guys who were up there in the overall top 10 overall. Wout van Aert was dropped, but they came back. He did one more pull for his team leader, Jonas Vingegaard. Eventually that group was whittled down to around 7 riders. It was Tadej Pogacar with his teammate Adam Yates. It was Jonas Vingegaard with his teammate Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss is always there. Felix Gall from AG2R Citroën, Jai Hindley, and Carlos Rodriguez, the eventual stage winner. Things were starting to tense up with about 3.7 kilometers to go to the top of the climb. Tadej Pogacar lights it up. There was a huge roar from the fans here on the finish line. A lot of Slovenians had come over to watch the race, and they were going bananas. He got a big gap right away with that acceleration, but thereafter, either Tadej didn't have enough, it was starting to ease off, or Jonas was finding his legs again, but he pulled back up to Tadej, and the two were back together until about 1.3, 1.2 kilometers to go. Tadej opens up the throttle again, goes on another attack between the fans, going up, but the TV motorbikes are there. There's a motorbike for a cameraman. He's held up, his attack doesn't work, it's nullified. Unfortunately, on a big stage like today, the motorbikes and the fans got in the way, and then we were heading up to the top, and there are bonus seconds offered on the top. 8, 5, and something else, but for the first and second, that's what Tadej and Jonas were eyeing. Tadej did not open up very soon at all. In fact, it was Jonas who opened it up. Tadej couldn't match him. Tadej only gets second at the top. Jonas gets first, so he gets 3 seconds over Tadej. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened, but afterwards I spoke with my Slovenian colleagues, and what they said, he explained in Slovenian to them, Tadej. He explained that after that attack where he came up on the back of those motorbikes, he was getting some lactate acid in his legs, and he couldn't attack very soon up there when they were reaching the line for the bonus second sprints. They got to this false flat at the top before it dips down here into the valley into Morzine. Right there, we knew Carlos Rodriguez was always there, right behind those guys. He comes up and he rockets past 9.1 kilometers of descending. Oh, it was so tense. Carlos Rodriguez was in the front the whole time. Back behind, it was Tadej Pogacar watching Jonas Vingegaard, and the two were taking that descent, going bananas into the valley here in Morzine, and the final 500 meters up to the finish line, and Tadej Pogacar eases up a bit for Adam Yates to join so they can hopefully eat up those bonus seconds ahead of Jonas Vingegaard, but they weren't able to pull it back. Carlos Rodriguez, who took the stage win, also moved ahead of Jai Hindley today to take third overall by just 1 second. Back behind, what a fierce battle between Tadej Pogacar, between Jonas Vingegaard coming up to the line. Jonas Vingegaard finds his legs, gets the punches, 10, 6, and 4 bonus seconds on the finish line. He gets 2 seconds ahead of Vingegaard. So at the end of the day, at the end of the huge battles in the day, just 1 second gained by Jonas Vingegaard. Unbelievable, just a grudge fight all day long. In 1 second, between the two. So now it's 10-second lead that Jonas Vingegaard has in the yellow jersey over Tadej Pogacar. And you have to look so far back in the history of books to ever see a Tour de France this far in. We're heading to the stage 15 tomorrow. So close to battle between first and second. And the other great thing is that you see we have this close battle for third place overall, with Carlos Rodriguez just 1 second ahead of Jai Hindley, who was battered and bruised coming across the finish line. Adam Yates there in 5th place at 5:20, and Sepp Kuss, what a great ride, pulling so much on the shoe plane, and then keeping himself in check, intact, to move up 4 spots overall to 6th overall, 8:15, with Simon Yates right there behind him, dropping down 1 spot today, sitting there at 8:32, and Pello Bilbao right behind Simon Yates. But what a day of racing. Carlos Rodriguez giving Ineos Grenadiers their second stage win in the 2023 Tour de France, and the ultimate grudge fight battle, so close, neck and neck between Pogacar and Vingegaard.